Hello everyone, myself Dr. Bharti, Principal Faculty of Physiotherapy, RPIIMS Campus Karnal. So welcome you all in our YouTube channel. So in my last session we have learned about motor learning. What are the basic concept of motor learning, how motor learning, motor control and the motor development work. So now today's topic of discussion was theory behind the motor learning. There are so many concepts behind that, how that learning takes place, how our engram in the brain works, and how and which part of the structure, which are the structures that are responsible for motor learning. So in this session we learn the theories behind the motor learning. There are two types of theory: Adams theory, also known as Adam-Close theories, and another one is schemas theory. So that two theories works behind that motor learning. So Adams closed loop theory or the open closed loop theory. Adam closed loop theory, as the name suggests, closed loop, and in that we have works the sensory feedback as well as the motor feedback. So sensory feedback from ongoing movement is compared with the stored memory of the movement. Some movement pattern known as the engrams that are already stored in our brain. So the sensory feedback that which are giving from that movement is compared with that sensory memory of the movement. For that purpose we provide the central nervous system with a reference of correctness and the error detection. So when we learn, or when we when we are in starting procedure of that learning, so there are so many errors and the task takes a long time to complete. So sensory feedback which are coming from that ongoing movements are compared with the memories or the movement which are already stored in the brain. So later on when we are mastered in that particular task, then it will reduce the error and correctness of that particular movement has been takes place. On the other hand, this theory explains slow movement well, but not the fast movement. First concept of closed loop theory is that sensory feedback is necessary for doing the movement, and second one, it works on the slow movements but not on the fast movements, as decisions are made in the brain because the engram are already stored in the brain, that are the stored memory of the movement. So decisions are made in the brain, not all the information sent together. We give the information one by one. We reduce or deduct the complex task into the simple one first. So not all the information is sent together to a particular task. We give the information or the sensory feedback one by one to take the movements. Now information which is received by the muscle is to initiate the movement, and feedback is always available. Why it is important? It is vital for correct the movement or to adjust to the changing needs, to have to reduce the error. First of all, we detect the error via closed loop theory by giving the sensory feedback, as the movement patterns which are ongoing are compared with the movement pattern which are already stored. So that helps to detect the error. So it will help in the correctness of that particular movement. Now what are the clinical implication of that theory? Accuracy of the movement, because initially we learn some particular pattern, and then that pattern is compared with that pattern which are already stored. So accuracy of the movement is takes place in that via that concept of closed loop theory. Accuracy of the movement is proportional to the strength of the perceptual trace which are already stored. Now second implication was patient must practice the movement repeatedly to develop and strengthen the perceptual trace, as patient may practice the movement, because practice, experience and the repetition of the task is very much important to become the masters in that particular task, to strengthen that particular task. So two implication was there. First one is accuracy of the movement which is proportional to the strength of the perceptual task, and second one is the subject have to practice that particular movement repeatedly to develop and strengthen the particular trace. Now there are some limitations of that. Accurate movement can occur in the absence of the feedback. Accurate movement can occur in the absence of the feedback initially. Now it would require a separate perceptual trace for every possible movement. That means that are the memory which are already stored in the brain. That is, the separate perceptual trace is required for every particular movement. Now we come to open loop theory. Open loop theory does not explain learning that occur in the absence of sensory feedback. closed feedback theory, sensory feedback is necessary, but the open loop theory does not explain learning that can occur in the absence of the sensory feedback. Sensory feedback is necessary. Now, according to that open loop theory, this theory states that decisions are made in the brain before performing the skill. Decisions are already stored in the brain which are before performing the skill, but in that closed loop theory, the movement pattern we are ongoing movement pattern we are comparing with the stored movement pattern. But in open loop theory, decisions are made in the brain before performing the skill, and all movements for one movement, all information for one particular movement is sent in a single message. Means we work on the complex task, not on the simple task. But in closed loop theory, we first break that complex task into a single one and then do the task. Now, message received by the muscle which perform the movement, that is same as a closed loop theory. Whenever we have to do some motor task, message received from that motor task muscles are very much important. Now, feedback may or may not be available, but it doesn't control the action. But in that closed loop theory, feedback is required. So open loop theory accounts well for fast movement, ballistic, swing, like quick movements as well. But in that closed loop theory, it works on the slow movement pattern only. So that is all about closed and the open loop theory. And the schema theory, which is based upon that, which states that slow movements are based on the feedback, as the closed loop theory works on the slow movement and which is based upon the feedback, but feedback is not necessarily for the open loop theory. Open loop theory works for the fast movement. That's why rapid movements are based on the program. Now, what are the clinical implications? Why we are studying that all conditions? Because optimal learning, optimum and optimal is a different thing. Optimum is the maximum, optimal is that is matched by the patient's capacity, brain capacity. So optimal learning occur with variable practical conditions. Now, there are very few limitations of that schema theory as well. That means inconsistent experimental support, which required continuous experimental support, strong support with children to wake to test, inconsistent finding with adults. There are no the theories that work on the findings with the adult population, and cannot account for one trial learning method. In the absence of scheme, we required some particular scheme for that particular movement behavior pattern. So these are the theories that explain what are the concept behind the motor learning. So in this session we learned that how that closed loop theory works, how that open loop theory works, and that schema theory control works on that slow movement as well as the fast movement. So these three theory explain how motor learning work. So in next session we discuss the classification of motor learning. For this, thank you so much.